Here's one of my Hawaiian papaya trees, which had been doing rather well. And as you can see, it's not doing so well anymore. Most of the larger leaves are burned. However, the good news is, look in there closely, there still is some growth that's alive at the tip. So that means it's probably going to come back. Now, what are some of the things you need to do here? Well, the first thing is, don't go pick off all the leaves. You might think it looks that better that way, but really that's just going to hurt the plant more. For whatever little part of it can produce photosynthesis that's left in those leaves, it's going to need. So I just leave them on there and let them fall off naturally. The other thing is, this fruit that's up there doesn't need to be there. It needs to all be picked off. And the reason for that is you don't want the tree, the plant in this case, using energy to try to maintain the papaya fruit when it's trying to regrow and vegetate again. My prediction is, which you can check back in future videos, that this particular plant is going to do just fine as soon as we get into the summertime. You can see this side shoot that often happens on papaya trees is also got some green growth right on the tip, and it might give that one, I would predict that one's going to start taking off. The next thing I like to look for is any burning in the flowers that are happening this time of year. This is late February, and the mango flowers were in full bloom, so I really hate to see them get fried by the cold temperature this time of year. So I'm looking at them pretty carefully. You can see that they're not brown really, and looks like they survived it. Now if it gets much colder, we're forecasted to go pretty cold tonight. If it gets much colder, they will have an effect, but so far I think they're going to be viable to produce fruit. You can even see some of the little tiny mangoes trying to form there. Now another plant I like to look at is the banana. Now these are just a couple sprouts I have yet to dig up, and I'm going to give them a little time to recover before I do dig them up to plant them other places. But you can see this one did suffer a little bit right around the edges of some of the new leaves. It's brown. Those black spots are also an indication of some damage. See on this one, not too bad, but right around the edges of the plant you can tell. There you go, you could tell it suffered a little bit, but this banana should be just fine. If it's not, I'll know soon enough, and have plenty of time to produce some more sprouts to plant. Now here's the same variety bananas, Musa bananas, in a more wind-protected spot, but as I take a look at these, I can tell that they also had a little bit of burning, mostly on the new leaves, which is what you'll see. But definitely not that bad. Now on the center here you can see the newest leaf, which is yet to unravel, and the very tip might be a little bit brown, but you want to look at that especially to see if it got the fatal blow, which it'll start to turn real brown on that newest growth, and it didn't. So I feel good about these bananas making it. Another fairly cold sensitive plant that I have is the starfruit tree. And I've still got starfruit on the tree. That will turn a little bit more reddish when it gets cold, I found. This one also got a little bit of damage. And what happened to it was the tips. Some of the tips have kind of died off, or at least starting to die off. They've dropped leaves. Now they will continue to die off, and that's not a problem. I found with this kind of temperature, what happens is a lot of the tips die off, and then in the springtime you can go and just trim those off, and it'll be just fine, grow back. I'd trim them with a lopper so that they sprout new growth. Now there's some damage, but I want to also predict that this is going to help the mulberry crop. This is a tree that doesn't mind getting cold at all. You can see it suffered absolutely no damage and is absolutely loaded with fruit. I think it produces better fruit when it gets a little bit cold. When we have almost no cold, I've noticed that the quality isn't as good. So looking forward to a huge harvest of mulberries this year. Here's my longan tree, and it looks just fine, no damage at all. Nice healthy green leaves without any burning around the edges. I think we're going to get a good year out of this one as well. Doesn't seem to mind the colder temperature nearly as much as some of the other tropical trees I have. You can note that on this one I have done a lot of trimming to promote it being bushy, and that's something I consistently recommend that you all do to keep your tree small enough that you can pick the fruit without using a ladder. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like it. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to be notified as new videos come out. Thanks for watching.